What percentage do you think of doing well in like a multiplayer match in Call of Duty is raw aiming ability versus everything else, such as positioning, map awareness, when to sprint, when to not sprint, etc.? Does the question make sense?
That is a good question. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good question. I don't really know, to be honest. For me, there are definitely some games where I feel like my aim is fine. Like I feel like I'm aiming at people just fine, and I still get shit on. So obviously that brings into it, positioning and awareness and adjusting to how the other people are playing it. But I don't know. It's really up in the air. Sometimes my aim isn't that great, but I'll still have a decent game if I'm just really disciplined. So I would say, your raw aim definitely helps. And let's be real here. No matter how good your positioning is, if you can't hit the enemy, you're never going to kill them. So you have to be able to aim to some extent. But positioning can help you make those kills a whole lot easier. So I don't know. I can't really put a percentage on it, but I would say it's probably more important, your positioning and your awareness, than your aim. But you have to have a certain threshold of aim, otherwise you'll never get a kill regardless.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes perfect sense. So in other words, if I could try to rephrase that, there is a minimum threshold of aiming competence that is required. But once you meet that threshold, then positioning and awareness become paramount.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Good to know.
And that's not to say that, different play styles can't work. I play super aggressive all the time, which hurts my stats sometimes, and sometimes it helps them. But I mostly just do it because that's how I enjoy playing the game. If I wanted to play for a high KD all the time, A, I'd run lethals. B, I'd play to get those lethals, which means I'd play a little bit slower, play a little bit safer, play a little bit more behind my teammates as opposed to always in front of them pushing the envelope, and things like that. But since I don't care about my KD, I just want to have a lot of gunfights. I'm always up there pushing.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Okay. Nice. That's good to know. I've always wondered this myself because, I think that question is almost impossible to answer, which is kind of why I asked you. I was curious what your thoughts were. It was a trick.
Gymnastics.
Get baited.
Yeah.
No. Your answer was perfect, and I think it applies to almost everyone. But the reason I'm saying that is, as this caveat, is just like you need a bare minimum of aim to where your positioning even matters, because your positioning doesn't matter if you can't aim at all, right? Obviously, like let's say your controller was broken, wouldn't matter how well you position, you're gonna die. So that point is well taken. But there's also, I think, from what I've seen, an aiming potential where your aim is so much better than any conceivable person in your lobby that your positioning starts to matter. Not at all. I want to be clear. It's not like your positioning doesn't matter at all, but it matters a lot less. Like, for example,
Absolutely.
I have to be a lot more fucking careful what I push than fucking Nate Gibson or the Gaming Definition or Syrian. I will watch their stream, and Nate will he'll look in the window of a building, and he'll see 4 people, right? He'll see 4 people in one room, and his next play is to fucking just SWAT team in that bitch, and he'll fuck everyone. 90% of the time, he just fucks everyone, and it's like, I want to be clear, guys. When I say you should watch these streamers to improve, that doesn't mean you should play exactly the way they do, because you can't. hey, listener, you can't fucking do that. You're not going to get away with that. Almost no one is. It's like they're allowed to position in ways that are absurd for me to do, and I'm pretty good. 93rd percentile. It's not great. There are listeners better than me, statistically, because we get so many fucking listeners. But I'm better than most people in the average game. But despite that, there are things I just can't get away with that these fucking God Kings get away with. And it's like that the only reason I asked that is like, man, if you can aim real fucking good, you can overcome a lot of just, it's not even bad positioning. So like the storming the building is one example where you're just rolling the dice, and your percentages raise exponentially as your aim gets better, of course. But also, if you catch someone with their pants down, because sometimes you're doing everything right and you still just happen to find yourself surrounded by 4 kids. And raw aiming ability there, it's like it's no fault of the player. It's not like it's not like the player has bad positioning. But if your aim is real fucking good, you're still gonna win. So yeah, I guess the point here is that I feel like there is a ceiling to map awareness and positioning that is relatively easy to reach. Whereas with aim, there's really not a skill ceiling. Your aim can always get better, I feel like, but your like positioning and map awareness, you can hit the ceiling on that, not easily, but pretty fucking easily. Whereas with aiming, like you can't, there's just no ceiling for aiming. There's always ways to like, I don't know, get better.
Yeah, which is why people like TGD and Syrian routinely get called cheaters by people who just aren't as good.
Exactly.
Because they're so much higher in some of those aspects and just raw aim than the average person that a lot of people cannot fathom that it's real. But the fact of the matter is, there are probably better aimers out there than Syrian.
100%.
And there definitely are. We don't know who they are because they don't stream, or better than Shroud at raw aiming, or better than Elige, Counter-Strike Pro. There are people out there who aren't known who are better. There are always people who are better. But I think that's a good point.
Yeah.
Positioning can only get you so far. Aiming can get you probably farther.
Yeah.
So, and that's something that is, like you said, just watching a streamer to improve. Sometimes if they're playing super aggressively and just bailing themselves out of bad situations with their incredible aim, you're not going to be able to replicate that yourself.
Yes.
So, but, in general, those people named will be making smarter decisions based on positioning than the average person.
Oh, yeah,
so
for sure.
You can still learn a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. That's not to say that they play like apes. Like, let me be clear. It's not like fucking the gaming definition just always just fucking YOLOs everywhere. He doesn't. But there are times where he'll be like, you know what? Fuck it. And just go. And like, he'll be fine. That's interesting though. That's funny. But yeah, that is a super good point. And I've been baited into this, dude. I've been watching one of these guys stream, and I'm like, dude, I'm so It's like when I was playing NJB, National Junior Basketball. Any white boys in the chat? And like before practice, I would watch like a YouTube video of like Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant highlights. F's in the chat for Kobe Bryant. And then I would just like go to practice all pumped up and like so excited to play basketball. So sometimes, as a 28-year-old man, by the way, 28 years old, I will watch one of these guys stream like Shipment 24/7, where they're doing exactly this, just nonstop, either sprinting or shooting someone, 100% of the lobby, and I just get so fucking amped, dude. And then I queue and I try to play like that myself. I turn the first corner, dead, slap, no, wrong, just shit on over and over, and I'm like, fuck, dude, I can't. I need to remember, I'm not fucking the gaming definition.
Instant reality check.
Yeah, and just shit on by like reality. Yeah.